Okay, still sick. Uh, this is amazing. Need to go wash that here in a minute. I want to make a couple of videos though to answer a couple of questions that we have gotten. First of all, I want to talk the uh, about Nora Vargas and her nonsense. Okay, we know for a fact that 40 million gallons or more, right, is coming being dumped in to the riverbed daily, has been for a very long time. The issue itself, decades old. The bigger issue right now has been since there was a really big storm that came through a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point, and took the pump station offline. They have struggled to get the right parts, to do all the things. Problem worse. Okay. What is the whooshy that's coming through? We know for a fact there's raw sewage. We know for a fact there are chemicals. We know for a fact that some of those chemicals, many of those chemicals, are known carcinogens, carcinogens meaning cancer causing chemicals. We know for a fact that some of those cancer causing chemicals are so dangerous they've been banned in the United States, other places too. We know for a fact that there are heavy metals that are coming through, and we know for a fact that there's trash coming through. So we know that none of this is debatable. This is all known fact. And whoosh through into America, into the Tijuana River Valley, through the river valley, out to the ocean. Because the water quality people have done their job for years, we know for a fact what many of these chemicals are independently. We also know that the monitor, the testing equipment, it's just like a thermometer that you put in your mouth that only goes so high. And what we know is that many of these tests have been repeatedly have been like do the test and it immediately goes off the top. So you don't know what is the actual top because the monitor can't even do that. It taps it out. Because of that, the beach has been closed with signs on it that says, this is toxic, this is closed, this is dangerous to your health. Don't don't be on this. And we also know that that's been true for the ocean because again, whoosh through the riverbed, through the river, out and into the ocean, right? And we know this is a fact. We know that. What we have right now is denial, especially by Nora Vargas, about whether or not there's anything toxic here in the land. And if there's anything toxic here in the land, whether or not that can become toxic in the air. I don't understand how she thinks it's debatable. I'm going to give you a couple of actual examples. Well, I'm going to give you three examples. Example number one is we have had researchers from universities who this is what they do. They research. And no offense to them, I'm so happy they're here, but they're research nerds, right? That's what they do. They have their little things, they have their hazmat, they have, do I need protective gear or not? Let me look at my little thing. Oh, it's going off the charts in numbers I have never seen like that before. That tells me, because I'm an educated researcher, I need protective gear. So they put on protective gear and they go take more tests. They decide, oh, this is still too high. So they got drones, and so they can send the drones in to take the measurements, protecting the people. Does that all make sense? And they still found these numbers even higher. And we know that many chemicals will will give you a headache and nausea, make you sick to your stomach. Many people, myself included, can't use those plug-in chemical smells in your house, the ones that are supposed to make it smell pretty, because it makes me sick. I get a headache. I have an allergic reaction. My throat swells up. So is it really that hard to think about the fact that when we know we have raw sewage, chemicals, cancer-causing chemicals, heavy metals, and trash, that we would have toxic air? Uh, One of the things we know is out there is lead. We know that when you get lead in dirt and then it sits there, it's not going anywhere, right? And then it dries out, and then the wind comes up and it blows it. Now you have lead contaminated air that you don't want people to be breathing. You don't want it to be settled in their house. You want to be careful how you even dust it up. We know that's a fact. So how can Nora Vargas say, no, there's nothing toxic in the air, people don't have to be worried? Because she's lying. She's either evil of intent or incredibly stupid. I don't know. Did she get kicked in the head by a horse over the weekend and we should be worried about her health? I mean, is she okay? Just saying. Have you ever been someplace where they have porta potties? They have a row of porta potties. And it's maybe you're at the fairgrounds and it is a hot day and you have to pee. Let's be real. You have to pee. I gotta pee. I gotta pee. And you head over to the porta potties, which are kept cleaned out. They have the right ratio of chemicals in it to manage the raw sewage that goes down, right? That to help make sure that it doesn't become toxic. And you walk by, it's a hot day, it's been out there baking in the sun, and the smell tells your bladder, oh, no, we don't. Not today, Satan. We are not going in there because we can smell that toxic smell. Is it hard to believe the researchers that said when we're having this heat wave and we have the sun coming down on all of these chemicals and it's baking it, that it's making a cloud that is affecting people? I don't think that's hard for a first grader to understand. It's hard for Nora Vargas to understand, and she got up and she actually did a whole press conference and lied through her teeth and said, no, there's nothing toxic, it's okay, proceed as normal, everything's fine. She also said, well, no, I haven't seen that data yet. She didn't choose to err on the side of health and safety and wellness, not even for children in schools. She didn't err on the side of common sense. She didn't err on the side of, you know what? We have some information that I think we need to take seriously. I need to look more into, and I'm going to get back to you. No, she didn't say that either. So that's one of the things that we're talking about and that we're dealing with, and it kind of explains the situation a little bit more for people, especially people outside of the area that are like, what is going on? There's another video coming too here in just a minute.